work. So how it's gonna work is I've got when I want to talk about some bullshit that's happening on screen, I'm gonna flip to this, and you're gonna see me here. And when we're watching the film, I'm going to be in the corner with my back turned, watching the film with you. Okay? Okay. Just making sure that y'all know how it's going. Okay. You have to sit next to us while watching. I will be in the corner. But yes, I've got the novels here, and this is something that has been asked of in my community for a bit. So as the movie's going on, I will be the annoying person in the audience, stopping the film and pointing out and going, actually, page 73 states. Yes. And I've got the sequel novel as well, and I've got the extra little bonus book with all the information in it. Like, I've got everything here. But yeah, the movie we're watching is Artemis Fowl 2020, a film that Disney unfortunately produced. They bought the rights to the novel in the early 2000s, and they've been sitting on it for 11 years. It is my favorite novel. It is my equivalent of like a millennial's obsession with Harry Potter is my obsession with Artemis Fowl. I unironically have like no, so much of my life has gone into this. Like, you know how some people are obsessed with anime, or some people are obsessed with like trains or airplanes, like autistically. That is Artemis Fowl for me. I have handmade artwork all over my walls for it. I have repainted the shitty vinyl pop Funkos so that I had real figures. I have every novel in multiple like different languages. I've got multiple copies of the same language but the different release year covers. I have like 6 volume ones of Artemis Fowl. I actually want to collect all of Artemis Fowl in Chinese because the Chinese book covers are so beautiful. Anyway, who's your favorite character? Unfortunately, it is the titular Artemis because chat, he is literally me. Not in this fucking movie though. Butler is a close second. Anyway, so I want to set the scene for you, okay? Before we get into the film, a brief idea of what you're getting into. Okay? Artemis Fowl is kind of in the same vein of Harry Potter, of it being like a fantasy world series, but instead of it being wizards and witches in a castle at school, it is underground cave fairies with advanced technology and an evil mafia kind of family that lives out of Ireland that fucks around and finds out and is the head of the criminal underworld globally. And our titular main character, who is the son of the kingpin of that empire, Artemis Fowl. The story starts with him when he is 12, and he is like a mad genius, an evil genius. That is the whole point of his character. He doesn't exercise. He's this pale, pasty little guy. Evil bastard, right? And nobody believes in fairies. Nobody thinks they exist, but he exists during the early days of the internet, and he discovers them, and he decides, you know what? Maybe they don't exist, but what if they do? And I'm the super genius. I'll figure it out. And so the rest of the novel follows Artemis Fowl as he finds the secret society of fairies underground. He kidnaps one, he poisons one, he like assaults her, puts her in cages, extorts her, traumatizes her. Quite literally, there's like a whole police interrogation. He's trying to get a metric ton of gold because he wants to fight the Russian mafia. So, bad child, evil genius, like the whole appeal is that it's like a weird power fantasy for 12-year-old boys who want to feel like they're the smartest person in the room. And I loved it. I loved that shit. It was so good. The whole point is that this was an evil child. And he never goes outside. And he's bad. He has no friends, quite literally. Sorry. I want you to keep all of that in mind as we start the movie, because he is the bad guy. shit to say. So, I would like you to feast your eyes upon this character right here. This is supposed to be Mulch Diggums. First off, he's not supposed to be in the movie this early, or in the story this early. And in the novels, he is a dwarf. In the films, they changed it so that he was a quote-unquote giant dwarf for some reason. They were able to do obscene CGI in this film, so it's not like they couldn't shrink him. They just decided they wanted to make him a giant dwarf. And they also wanted him to, I hate to say it, but this guy right here that you're looking at, Josh Gad, this is really bad already. This will be as good as the movie gets. This guy's involvement, and none of it is book accurate. It gets so bad that this guy is the highlight of the movie. All right. Carrying on. Sorry, sorry, I don't mean to lose the plot so fucking early. Okay, sorry. We're watching the movie. I'm behaving. Okay? Okay, 37. Okay. Okay, so here, they have somehow captured Mulch, which is not something that the humans are capable of in the series, because the humans don't know that the fairies exist. That's like a whole thing, okay? A whole thing is that they're really good at wiping the memories of all humans. So the fact that they're able to catch Mulch at all is very strange, because he's a master of being very slippery. If anything, the fairy police should have caught him. But no, they didn't, because they fucking hate me. That's what, they fucking hate me. They hate me so much. Desync audio. I've explained this already. The fairy police? Oh, you'll see. Oh my god, don't even get me fucking started about the Aculus. The MacGuffin that they added in post, that's Disney exclusive, that has nothing to do with anything. There's no such thing as the fucking Aculos in the novel. The closest thing in the novel series to whatever the fucking Aculos is the Infinity Cube in book fucking 3. And that's a glorified iPhone in the shape of a square. No, they just, in the novels, fairies go through a ritual to reinvigorate their magic once every couple of years, where they bury an acorn under a tree and the earth gives them magic for it. They took that premise and they fucking went like, okay, but what if we had like a big giant mechanical acorn that was like all powerful and like a nuclear grade weapon for no fucking reason? And it's not relevant to the story at all. Like, it's not relevant to the story in the slightest. Oh, this is gonna be a long fucking movie. All right, Mulch, tell us about the fucking Aculos. All right. We're pausing here real quick. Hi, Raiders. I'm crashing out right now. We're 4 minutes into the movie, and I'm already 23 minutes into broadcast. So in the novel, Artemis Fowl Sr. is Artemis Fowl's father is literally Artemis Fowl Sr. The main character is Artemis Fowl the second, technically. The evil 12-year-old is the second Artemis Fowl. But first, let me welcome readers. Hello, Hoshi Balls. Hoshi Serrano. Thank you. I'm gonna cry. Oh God. Okay. And yes, for some reason, Josh Gad does sound like a chain smoker through the entire film. What happened to the thumbnail, bruh? What do you mean thumbnail? All right. Let's get back to it. Might as well be crashed as. Okay. I'm doing my best because, okay, sometimes the movie will desync because I have 2 versions of the movie playing at the same time because the actual English version, my legal rip, it won't stream. The video like won't pick up on OBS, but the audio will. So I've got an illegal Spanish rip that we're looking at visually, and I'm playing both versions at the same time. Now, I want you to keep in mind the description I gave you of Artemis before everything started, okay? Small, pale, never goes outside, hates sports, evil bastard, no friends. Okay? Creepy, evil, 12-year-old boy. Demon child. He is literally... I will read the description of what he looks like after we're introduced to him in the movie so that you can see how badly why I'm upset. So, YouTube has officially been killed. YouTube has been killed, everybody. Please come over to Twitch. Okay, I'm pausing, and also we'll talk about this in just a moment. I'm going to open up Twitch on my end and link everybody to it. Okay, I'm gonna give everybody a moment to come in. It's okay if you guys don't have an account. We're just here to vibe. All right, I'll give you guys a moment to filter in, and I'm also actually going to delete the YouTube VOD because I'm pretty sure that this will cause a strike. If they are actively sniping it while live, that means that they will actually give me a strike. So hold on, let me go into the YouTube side of things, turn off the YouTube restream, confirm, go back. Okay, hold on. But first off, I have something really that upsets me about the scene because it's technically kind of book accurate, but it's not book 1. They pulled this scene from book 2, and it was a different context as well. Like, no, this is bad. First, let me go collectively watch Artemis Fowl. Oh, interesting. For some reason, it's still technically monetized. But I am going to go into it and make it private. Yeah, YouTube executed Artemis Fowl stream. All right. Welcome in, YouTube refugees. You get to experience what it's like to be a Twitch chatter for the day. I am sorry already for the ads that are going to happen. So they condensed. I hate this place. You rip. So they wanted to condense the first 3 books into 1 movie. And so they did. And so they did. This scene is from book 2. If I actually pull this up. The whole intro here, it's lifted word for word from the intro of book 2. By the age of 13, our subject Artemis Fowl was displaying signs of intelligence greater than any human since Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He had beaten European chess champion Ivan Khashoggi in an online tournament, patented more than 20 inventions. Just, it goes on and on. But they cut out entire chunks. And then they skip to when he's grilling the psychiatrist. This shouldn't be here at all. And him wakeboarding, him surfboarding shouldn't be here at all. This is a gross mischaracterization of this character. All right. And this is honestly the only time in the movie where he actually acts like himself. There was one other scene in the movie they filmed that was book accurate theoretically, and they deleted it. They had it in every single piece of advertising. Did you ever disable pre-roll ads? I don't know how to do that. Hold on. How do I do that? Thank you for the bits. 1995 Chevrolet Ho. We're getting a hype train that's kind of nuts. I'll try and just snooze things manually when I can. No, I don't want the tutorial. I don't want it partially disabled. Low ad length and frequency, shorter ads more often or longer ads less often. I feel like shorter ads, advanced settings, first ad delay, 30 minutes, auto snooze ads, ad-free viewing. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make this functional because I know that the Twitch experience isn't that good. All right, let's go. Sorry, I'm gonna try and do more talking in the corner here while the movie's going because stopping and starting is a bit jarring. A dealer of antiques? A dealer of antiques and not the leader of a worldwide syndicate? A dealer of antiques and a fairy enthusiast. And the fact that he's even alive at the beginning of the movie, in the novel, in the book, he's dead. In the book, he's gone. He's fucking vamoosed. He is kidnapped by the Russian mafia. That's what puts the whole plot into action, is that Artemis Fowl Sr. was kidnapped by the Russian mafia. And so Artemis Fowl goes to kidnap, beg, borrow, steal, murder, and extort from people and fairies specifically to get enough money to get his father back from the Russian mafia, even if it means that he's in a fucking casket. That's the whole plot. But no. This has to be Spy Kids. This has to be, we're a dealer of antiques. Dealer of antiques. A dealer of antiques. A dealer. He runs a road show. He runs the fucking the fairy tale road show, everybody. We can't have the Russians be involved. That would scare people. It's 2020 and we're putting this movie out. Oh, it gets worse though. It gets so worse. It gets worse. It gets worse when Butler and Juliet are announced. He didn't fucking do that. He didn't fucking do this. He didn't do any of this. Artemis Sr. taught Artemis Fowl Jr. how to handle being a fucking crime lord in his absence. And he actively discouraged things like fairy tales and creativity and fun shit. No. The one who got into fairy tales was his mother, who was actively sick in the other room and delirious. And Artemis then went online because of his sick, dying, frail mother, and he got into that because he got into the fucking internet. That was the point. Artemis found it on his own. That's what made it so interesting, because this kid who was trained from birth to be an elite criminal has a tiny bit of whimsy left and then decides to exploit his whimsy for evil. No, this is a Disney, Dad. This is a good Disney film. This is Disney film. Everything has to be cute and everything has to be perfect. And you want to know? They had filmed a book accurate version of the film, genuinely, but they stopped and they recut the whole thing and refilmed massive chunks of it to include Colin Firth. After the film was done, he wasn't supposed to be in the movie at all. They changed the whole plot to include him, to have star power, even though they already had Judi Dench in the film. Why? I don't fucking know. Here's the thing, though, about child actors that they hired for Artemis and for Holly. That's a whole fucking can of worms. Because they filmed this over multiple years, they grew up. And so some scenes, Artemis looks like 4 years older than he did in other scenes. Any scene that he's in with Colin Firth, he looks older because it was shot like 6 months before it was released direct to Disney. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That is Butler. For anyone who's read the books, The butlers served the fowls for for multiple generations. To serve the fowls, the big criminal masterminds, you had to go through strict ninja training, and they were a Eurasian family, so they were typically presented in canon as looking very Chinese, but with blue eyes. Chinese with blue eyes. But their servitude was indentured. So making Butler black, making the butlers black, their name is Butler, by the way, like that. Making him black implies slavery! It implies slavery! There was no fucking reason to do this, especially when their main secondary character was already black. Holly was supposed to be black. The literal most important character in the novel was black, and they made her white, and then they took Butler, the Chinese man, and they made him black, so they would imply slavery! I fucking hate this movie. Maybe he's black Irish. He's not Irish. Butler isn't Irish. The butlers are not Irish. Also, they have Juliet Butler in the movie, but Juliet Butler, they don't make his younger sister. They make, for some reason, like his niece or something. That one's like less egregious, but it's like, they also make her Artemis's age instead of like 10 years older. She's supposed to be like the bratty big sister that bugs him. But in the film, they try to make it look like they're the same age for like pairing reasons, like shipping reasons down the line. Weird shit. Also, part of the... Okay, no. I'm saving this for later. This is genuinely the worst mischaracterization of Butler. Because you can call him the Butler. He prefers to be called the Butler. He is legally not allowed to be called by his first name because of his training. If you call, you're not, nobody's allowed to know his name is Domovoy. We find this out in book 4? 3? We find this out in book 3 that his name is Domovoy Butler because he's dying. He dies because he dies. Because he dies, and on his deathbed, he goes, Artemis, I need to tell you my biggest secret. My name is Domovoy. And it's very... No, it's okay. He gets better. Don't worry, Dax. But, like, that is not movie book 1 information, for one. And you're supposed to call him the Butler all the time. In the novel, even after you learn his name, everybody calls him Butler or the Butler because that's what he is and that's who he is and that's his chosen name and title. So what the fuck? What the absolute fuck? Also, yeah, Mulch for some reason is a narrator in the story. And in the novel, there is no narrator, quote unquote. Though in book 8, that kind of gets retconned, and theoretically Holly is supposed to be the narrator of book 1, which makes book 1 contextually very funny, I will say. Because it's her describing her own kidnap and torture. Where is he, Dom? Where is he, Dom? Where is he, Dom? Drops my milk. Me, I'm Artemis, the super genius. Where is my father, Dommy? Where is my father? How dare he? He's not a criminal. He's just my dad. How dare he? He's not a criminal. He's just my dad. They really went there. They went with the we're gonna frame Artemis Sr. subplot instead of Artemis Sr. genuinely is a horrible criminal. Also, even though this is a bit irritating, the desyncing isn't too bad. Isn't he supposed to be a psycho kid or something? Let me pull... Okay, later on, I will show you what Artemis is supposed to look like. Actually, no. I will read a description. I will read a description. Literally the very first pages of the book. Very first page of book 1. None of this happens. We are in Ho Chi Minh City. Ho Chi Minh City, in the summer, sweltering by anyone's standards. Needless to say, Artemis Fowl would not have been willing to put up with such discomfort if something extremely important had not been at stake. Important to the plan. Sun did not suit Artemis. He did not look well in it. Long hours indoors in front of a computer screen had bleached his glow from his skin. He was as white as a vampire and almost as testy in the light of day. I hope this isn't another wild goose chase, Butler, he said, his voice soft and clipped, especially after Cairo. It was a gentle rebuke. They had traveled to Egypt on the word of Butler's informant. No, I'm sure this time. Nguyen's a good man. Huh, droned Artemis, unconvinced. Pale as a vampire and as testy in the light of day. They are in Ho Chi Minh City, looking for shit. They are doing, on the ground work. None of this, my father isn't a criminal. Butt sauce, exactly. This part was so bad, I blocked it out of my memory. So this is Opal Cowboy. If you have subtitles on in English, which I did when the movie dropped, they literally give away the twist villain in the subtitles. They call her Opal Cowboy. She is not supposed to be in the first movie or book. She is the plot twist villain of book 2, and she isn't a mysterious figure. She's supposed to be a big booby hot bitch. She's a big booby hot, super genius bitch. And she doesn't kidnap Artemis Fowl Sr. The Russian Mafia does! No. For some reason, Opal Cowboy kidnapped Artemis Sr., who was supposed to be presumed dead. I'm going to blow a fucking gasket! So, in the novels, Butler doesn't know anything about the fairies. He learns about it alongside Artemis. And he actually thinks Artemis is crazy. He thinks Artemis has lost his fucking marbles, but he decides to go along with it anyway to protect this genius kid who's clearly grieving the loss of his father and crumbling under the stress of having to run this empire, only for Butler to realize viscerally, like after Artemis has proven it true, that wow, fairies are real. This is really fucking weird, but you know what? I'm gonna go along for the ride. Butler has nothing to do with Artemis Sr. He is paired with Artemis Jr. for life the moment Artemis was born. That's what he was born to do. When Butler was born, he was paired with Artemis. Well, not Artemis technically, but he was trained to be paired with the next Fowl heir. And so he has never interacted with Fowl Sr. except for when it has stuff to do with Fowl Jr. So Butler, acting as it wasn't your time to learn about this, but your father would kill me if he found out. But, I have to tell you to save your father. Your father was a secret fairy society person who protected the world of humans and fairies from colliding. It's just no. If in the novels Artemis Sr. found out about fairies, he would have fucking extorted them for every drop of blood that they had. He would have made a fucking killing. He would have made a fortune. He would have monetized that shit. No, he wasn't a protector of the fairies. He wasn't a treasure hunter. He wasn't an artifact collector. No, he was a piece of shit. No. And so, all of this, oh, it hurts. And it's so Spy Kids core too with the room. If anything, I could forgive the set here if it was like, oh, this is Artemis's den. This is where Artemis is putting together all his inventions. This is where he's autistically sitting like 24 hours a day trying to puzzle together the secrets of the universe. If this was Artemis Jr.'s lab, I'd get it. Better than the Lego set in his bedroom. Fuck. But no, this is Artemis Senior's. This is the family legacy where we store all of our secret fairy shit. No, shut the fuck up. Kill yourself. I am... Ever since this movie dropped, I've had a hate boner for Kenneth Branagh. Literally ever since. It's like, if I see that he's directed a film, I immediately boycott it. I immediately boycott any Kenneth Branagh film because he put this shit together. This movie was technically supposed to be a Harvey Weinstein production, but then it kind of got fucked over because, you know, Weinstein, got caught doing shit. But you know what? I will say something dangerous yet brave. For all of his flaws, Weinstein made some good fucking movies. And if he had the helm over this film, it might have been semi-book accurate. I am just going to say it now. If Harvey Weinstein directed the Artemis Fowl movie like he was supposed to, before all of the reshoots over the last 11 years, it would have been fine. It would have been fine. But no, we had to give it to the Guardians of the Galaxy, bozo. Okay. I'm sorry. We're only 17 minutes into the movie. We're only 17 minutes into the movie. I'm gonna try and crash out less.
To begin.
Going to say the tragedy of this movie, the most horrible part of this film, is that the next part that you're going to see is genuinely brilliant. It is genuinely brilliant. There was something here that could have been glorious. Because the way they did Haven was beautiful. Like, the way they did the underground fairy society and city was identical to how it was described in the book. And it's immaculate. It's beautiful. For all its flaws, the Artemis Fowl casting and whatever, the world building, the designs, impeccable. Like, it was like, when I saw it, it was like shivers the first time because it was entirely what I imagined. Like, and that makes it so much worse! It's one thing if it's a bad movie and there was no effort put into it, but clearly somebody on the team did their homework. It just wasn't the scriptwriter! And it wasn't the casting director. It was just everyone else on the team. Everyone else on the team. So I want you guys to look at, and they built a whole mansion for Fowl Manor from scratch. They went to Ireland and they built Fowl Manor. And it does look really nice. Like the set design, the world building. It is so good. Okay. Anyway, I want you to keep that in mind when you look at Haven, and I want you to know that I'm actually crying. I am actually crying so badly. Like, watching this the first time, when I watched it at midnight when it premiered live, and I was physically in tears. Like, I was genuinely crying. I was both so happy and upset. Holly Short. The most important character in the whole film. In the novels, She was described as having a plump cherubic face with a long hooked nose and dark nut brown skin and brown eyes and cropped auburn hair, like a crew cut. She was very muscular. Basically, she looked like a really short, dark-skinned butch lesbian. That is what she looked like. She was supposed to be an action hero movie. So they cast a white child with no musculature. Her hair is all right. But no, they're like, okay, let's make Butler black and Holly white. Let's just do that for fucking no good reason. I will say though, again, the costuming is incredible. This isn't like what I imagined to start, but when I saw this, immediately I was like, yeah, that fucks. That absolutely is a great uniform. I love it. This is a good uniform for the LEP reconnaissance. That fucks. That she looks like the LEP recon. That is awesome. Love it. Sweet. No notes. But fuck, man. Fuck. My fucking god. This again with the fucking book 2 shit. With Opal and Briar. None of this happens yet. None of this happens right now. He hasn't earned his way into Howler's Peak yet. Sorry. We are like, okay. Judi Dench. And all of those female police officers, the LEP reconnaissance, the lower elements police recon team, they are the fairies that go above ground and they keep people from finding out about fairies. They do the brainwashing techniques, quite literally. And they like beat up humans that get too close to figuring things out. The interesting thing about Holly's subplot is that she is the only female officer, because the fairies like to think themselves better than humans, but they have, like, they're beyond racism, they're beyond borders, they're one united thing. But unlike the humans at that time, because this book was released in the 90s and 2000s, the humans had gotten a little bit better with like sexism and stuff in the workforce, and it was like, you know, they achieved gender equity. However, in the fairy realm, there was hardcore fairy sexism going on. And so it was an interesting parallel between the real world and in this fantasy world, and good conversations to be had about, you know, how people are arrogant and, you know, just, it's stupid, right? Anyway, so her whole plot device was that, like, her whole story was that she was going against Commander Briar Root, which was a male commander, and everybody was being mean to her because she was a female police officer. Everybody was bullying her. And so when she got kidnapped, it really pissed her off, because it's like, ah, great. They're never going to let me hear the end of it. Her whole arc is that her whole family is dead, and so this is her only way to prove herself. So, arguably, Disney had the most woke possible story they could have done with a black female main character in a position fighting against the evil white man. And they didn't even replace it with anything good. Like, they got rid of that and they replaced it with something that wasn't even good. Like, I'm not like into wokenomics, right? But like, Artemis Fowl is the rare situation where it was well enough written and believable to the point where you could be entertained, even though like it was very clear that the politics of the creator were leaking through. Like, it is what it is, right? But the blatant, like, it is what it is, disrespect. Right? Oh my god, I hear myself. Hold on. Like, the blatant disrespect for the source material purely because they could. Like, they had no reason to, because they had every excuse. actually be like close to the story, because it's exactly like the shit it's like the good quality version of the shit that they're trying to force into films these days. They didn't need to force it in because it was a rare instance of it being written well. But no, they decided they were going to erase that and replace it with slop. And so now the police force is almost exclusively women because girl power. Girl power, guys. We can't show women not being empowered. It's girl power time. It's girl power time, everybody. Okay, Judi Dench. Like, you know what's a fucked up reality? When I'm going, why did they get rid of the wokeness? I am not a woke bitch. So the fact that I'm complaining about this is absurd. Okay, interestingly enough, in the novels, he never got a physical description until book 8, the last book of the series. And in the last book of the series, he was described to have golden hair and golden eyes and golden skin. So he was like gold all over. Like he was shiny. He was a shiny motherfucker, right? But his role in the series is tech support. His role in the series is tech support. I don't care if they didn't make him visibly book accurate because nobody knew what he looked like. And so everybody drew him differently. But you know what? But you know, his main role in the series is tech support. Do you want to guess what they cast as the tech support centaur? That's right. They made him stereotypically Indian and they took away his tinfoil hat. They cast an... Foley! Oh, my boy! Fairies can't go into houses without being invited first. That is, it's something to do with their arcane magic. So if they enter a human domicile without, it's part of their banishment underground without permission, it makes them viscerally ill. It's Fey logic, basically. So when Artemis keeps going, oh, you're allowed in the house, he is letting them in by their logic. And that was like a cool, smart nod to like historical fairy rules and magic and whatnot. And it was explained really well in the novels, but not in the fucking film. They just do it. They just do it and they expect us to know. Like, what the fuck? Like, they just expect us to know. Like, they literally info dump everything else, and they create Aculos, whatever the fuck. They bring in new parental figures, and then they get rid of Artemis's mother for some reason, because we're not allowed to have mothers, apparently. We're not allowed to have a good depiction of mental illness and schizophrenia, which his mother had. His mother was fucking delusional, and she was dancing with a fucking blow-up doll of his father because he went missing, and so she went crazy and decided that she would make a stand-in of him and dress him in his clothes and put him in the family bed and dance with him and talk to him. No, we're not allowed to have a genuinely mentally ill, sad depiction of a person. No, we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to have her dancing around in her wedding dress. No, not allowed to have a disturbed person. No, we'll just kill her. And we'll make the dad like a fucking Indiana Jones. Why not? Have him kidnapped by Opal Cowboy too while we're at it. Why not? Why not? Nothing matters. There's no such thing as good source material. I'm crashing out right now. Don't play me like this. Don't play me. Don't even joke. Don't even joke. I am losing my mind. I am losing my mind, Jan Rocks. This is not good. This is the genuinely, it has a lower score than Percy Jackson, like the Percy Jackson adaptation, which hurts because this is my all-time favorite book series being turned into bad cinema. Bad cinema. Not even so bad that it's good. It's just bad. It's so bad. Oh, my poor Artemis Fowl. My poor Artemis Fowl. Honestly, the book series is probably why I love suit wear, like formal wear so much. Because again, I was obsessed with Artemis Fowl. He was literally me. I am literally Artemis Fowl. Like, I love this shit. Like, I'm not smart, but I would like to be smart, right? I looked at him and I went, shit, that is what I aspire to be. I want to be an evil villain. I want to be, you know, super cool. I want to have all the quips. I want to be the smartest fucker in the room. I want to do bad shit. And I want to wear a suit and I want to wear sunglasses. And this movie's heartbreaking. Lori, I'm halfway through the movie. I'm only 50 minutes into the film and we are 2 hours. We are 2 hours into this. Lori, I love you, Raiders. I love you, Lori. You probably missed the worst of my crash out, honestly. Genuinely, you've missed, like, the worst of my crash out. Sounds like this book to you is what Dune is to me. Yeah. All right, excuse me while I resync the audio and visual. We are at 43:10. Okay. You don't exist! All right, in the novel, there was no Aculos. In this scene, Mulch Diggums is trying to go through the safe of the Fowls, and he's trying to figure out how, like, the police are trying to figure out how Artemis knows so much about the fairies. In the safe is the fairies' Bible, which Artemis, in the first scene of the book, he actually drugs and threatens to murder with poison a different fairy that he finds in Ho Chi Minh City, and he extorts her into giving him her Bible, and he copies it meticulously down. He takes it back to Ireland, and he translates it after figuring out how to read Gnomish, which is an entirely different alphabet that was created in universe for the novel. They give you a decryption key in the book, and so you can translate and write Gnomish. I learned how to do it as a kid, and you read it in spirals, and so their Bible is like a circle. And in it, it has all of the rules. And so that's how Artemis figures out that they have gold. Right? That's how he figures out the fairies have gold. And he's like, oh my God, I can steal gold from these fucking creatures. All right, I will come together, like put together a cool plan on kidnapping and extorting these creatures for their fucking money. And so this scene doesn't happen. They aren't standing in front of a big glowing acorn going, oh my God, magical nuclear weapon. We got to save the world, everybody. No, it's, oh my God, we were tricked by you. Because you want to steal our fucking money. This is how you know everything about us. You're scary. Holy shit. No. Every impactful scene, shat on. Every idea, scrambled. Are we friends, Artemis Fowl? We are. Need I remind you, this is supposed to represent book 1 and 2. The books in which Artemis kidnaps her, chemically tortures her, extorts her, steals a metric ton of gold, gets her in trouble at her job. Holy fuck. She's forced to go to Russia. She loses one of her fingers and it gets medically stitched back on. No, just, oh my God. No, they don't consider each other friends until barely the end of the second book, and they don't even really call each other that. Book 3, not even, they kind of, by book 4, they are solidly friends, and they get over their differences. But no, he's traumatized her at this point. She has nightmares because of him. What the, oh my fucking God. Oh my God. I hate this. 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 Yeah. The movie breaks so many rules of writing. It's so bad. Like, how the hell did any of this make it to production? I don't even your background context. Like, it just left this, it's so bad. So, the movie was shot like over 11 years. They did it over and over and over again. There's multiple cuts with many different actors. This version of the film was done multiple times, over multiple takes, over multiple script writers. In this final version, there was an entirely different movie that was slightly more book accurate, where Artemis actually does do some evil shit, including Ho Chi Minh City. Ho Chi Minh City, sweltering by anyone's standards. First thing of the book, where he extorts the ferry. And you know what? They use that footage in all of their advertising for this movie. They actually have Ho Chi Minh City, the first thing he does. They have it in every advertisement. And you know what they did? They took it from the actual film, but they put it in all of the ads. We're almost done. We're almost done. Guy was so creative. It was so enchanting and exciting. And so when the movie was like coming out, it was like, finally, I can watch the movie. The movie that I've been watching in my head for years. No. But no. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking that the movie would live up to the book. I was just hoping that it would at least be related to the book. You know? I was hoping that it would still be something. Anyway. I'm gonna go read the book again. I actually have it in my lap. I have my my reprint edition here. My 2018 reprint. This was when they were gearing up for the movie, so they were starting to put together new reprints. And they were changing a lot of the language, a lot of the grammar, and the language at the bottom as well. They had like the coded fairy language. I don't know. Artemis Fowl's best read with having the next book on hand, because they are a good read back to back. Pay for you to do an audio narration of these amazing stories. Nah, I don't think I'm very good at character acting. I don't know, could be fun, but... Again, it was just like, I don't know. It was like Disney wanted to make a relatable kid, and that wasn't why kids liked Artemis. That wasn't why I liked Artemis. It wasn't like, even as an adult, it's not why I like Artemis. It's because he wasn't relatable, but he was what I wanted to be, right? You don't have to be one-to-one a carbon copy of what you're looking at to relate to it. You just have to like what you see. It has to be interesting, and it has to be something that you would want to develop towards. That's what made it unique and interesting. It wasn't like anything that was out there. No, if I wanted a quote-unquote relatable, quirky Chungus MC, I just watch fucking Harry Potter. And you know what? I'm not a brain-dead millennial. Anyway, time to raid somebody.